I think Pathways has really helped me prepare for my future, because if I wasn't offered this internship, I probably wouldn't have explored it more. And it's helped me decide I want to go to college for this, and I applied at a couple colleges for auto mechanics.
The fun thing about what Proctor does is when a student comes here, they're focused very much on not just what they learned today, but how what they learned today rolls into what they get to learn tomorrow. And then what they get to learn tomorrow all of a sudden rolls into what they'd like to do maybe after school. Then they bring in groups that help augment, help show those different careers. So now as an 8th grader and a 9th grader, they're starting to see those careers. And as 11th and 12th graders are doing job shadows. They're going to different facilities, and it's in the community.
I think it's prepared me for my future a lot. Welding is my main trade, but I consider myself a jack of all trades, and I think that's in part to courses like woodworking and the construction. I could probably build my own house if I really wanted to now.
When they go into the trades, they're going in with an idea, with a purpose. They've talked to the people. It's just not something they fell into. When you graduate from high school with an idea what that looks like, and you've learned how to speak in front of people, and you've learned what it means to show up on time, and those kind of expectations are built in, well, then when they graduate, all the businesses in town know, well, that kid graduated from Proctor. So they've got some of those things already. Can we train them? Sure, we can train them. Let's bring them in.
Good morning again, Rails. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It means it's Pathways Tour Tuesday. So like we've done in previous weeks, we are continuing to expose you to different potential careers that are out there. And as always, if you are interested in anything that you see in these videos, please touch base with Nick Hansen down in the main office, and he can give you more information about that and give you opportunities to explore and get experience in those careers to see if you are indeed interested in maybe pursuing it further as a potential career down the road. So again, we are focusing on careers right now that are good for people who are good at math and science. So we have two careers here today that definitely are very prominent in our Duluth area, Duluth Superior area. The first one is civil engineering. If you've been downtown Duluth, you see the construction project, kind of redesigning the can of worms of the highways down there, and that's part of the process of being a civil engineer, is kind of designing a better way of doing things in our roadways, bridges, things like that. And then the second career we're going to look at is an aviation mechanic. We do have definitely some aviation industry here with Cirrus and others, with the airport and whatnot here in Duluth. So that's also another career that is a potential for someone who is looking at a career in math and science. So these two careers are highlighted today, and I hope you enjoy these videos.
Civil engineering is everywhere. It's in every road you drive. It's in the clean water you drink. It's where you live, work, and play. It really is all around you. Civil engineers help improve the lives of millions of people every day. We're going to meet 3 civil engineers and look at some of the real ways that they're helping communities right now. America's waterway system is home to an entire ecosystem. The animals that live in the water depend on us to keep their communities clean. This is James Wanenberg. James is working to create a healthy habitat and ecosystem in Washington, D.C.'s Potomac River. He's a resident engineer for the Blue Plains Tunnel, part of the D.C. Clean Rivers Project. This tunnel project is using a massive drill that's almost 30 feet high and over 400 feet long.
This is my office. We're here for DC Water, working on the Clean Rivers project. This project is intended to eliminate sewer overflows into the DC waterways, which ultimately go down to the Chesapeake Bay. So we're cleaning up the rivers. Right now we're working on a deep tunnel. It's called the Blue Plains Tunnel, and this is going to capture stormwater underground and allow that to be treated later after a big rain event. The tunnel boring machine we're using here is an amazing piece of equipment. It's fantastic. It's a 26-foot diameter, and it bores horizontally underground like a drill, and it holds back all of the earth pressures and the hydrostatic forces that are below ground at that depth. It also allows us to install the precast rings. They're made out of concrete precast segments, and that ring forms the pipe that will be there permanently after we're finished digging the tunnel. Civil engineering is it's a fantastic profession. It really deals with engineering all of the world around us. There's infrastructure on the surface, things that people see and use every day, like roadways, bridges, things of that nature. Then there's also a tremendous amount of civil engineering below the surface that no one ever sees. And that's what we're dealing with here. In my view, that's one of the best parts of civil engineering is working on the underground side, and it's so much fun. I never imagined I'd be able to work on something this cool, but I always had an interest in big projects. I love being a part of it. It's a great mission. We come to work every day excited to do this, and we can't wait to see the end result of all the hard work. My name's James, and I'm a civil engineer.
Hurricanes can destroy entire communities that then take years to rebuild. Maggie Jakes is a civil engineer who went to Haiti to help restore clean drinking water after the hurricane. Maggie was forever changed through her experiences in Haiti, helping a desperate community and touching lives.
So my junior year in college, my professor did a presentation on his trip to Haiti and what he found when he was there, and their biggest problem was drinking water. They didn't have clean water to drink, and thousands of people are dying each year because of this. So he was trying to get civil engineering students from Merrimack to travel there. 2011, we traveled to Haiti for the first time. We went to a town called Marmont, and this is where severe cholera outbreaks hit every year. There's a big clinic there, and we saw all the cholera tents still set up from their recent outbreak. The system was damaged by the 2010 earthquake, and it was broken in a few places, but the water was relatively clean. So we made a few repairs to that, and they were just so grateful that we were there. Because we were there, we gave them hope. In the United States, we're really lucky to have access to clean water, and that's thanks to years of hardworking engineers. My experiences in Haiti and my later years at college really opened my eyes to how many possibilities there really are for civil engineers to help. My name is Maggie Jakes, and I'm a civil engineer.
Baseball. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, the amazing ballparks that are home to our national pastime. Meet Aaron White, the civil engineer in charge of designing the hurricane-proof retractable roof at the Marlins Park in Florida.
This is the first roof in the world that was designed for a Category 5 hurricane. It weighs roughly 7,800 tons of steel, and it was actually designed to be positioned in a slightly open position for the hurricanes to let wind into the space and then back out to decrease the wind pressure on the roof. Obviously, anytime there's a threat of a rainstorm during a game, you have the problem of a rain delay. And if you know Miami, it rains here pretty much every day during the summer. So they have the ability to close the roof very quickly if there's an impending thunderstorm or rainstorm. So there's a guarantee that the game's going to happen every night, and that's extremely important. The mechanization is very efficient. It's designed so it only costs about $10 in electricity to move the roof open and closed. So early on in the design, we tried to establish what the minimum height of the roof over the playing field actually is. So we scoured the internet and found some equations that are put out by NASA, I believe, for the flight of a batted ball. And through those equations, you can actually calculate the flight of the batted ball at all different angles of the ball leaving the bat. So if it goes straight up in the air, it goes straight horizontally, or it's some nice trajectory of a line drive. And so we actually created those shapes early on and put them over the playing field to make sure that the shape of the roof that was above the playing field would never come in contact with a batted ball. We really interact with a lot of people, so there's a common conception that engineers just kind of go in their office and work by themselves doing calculations, but that couldn't be further from the truth. I'm Aaron White, and I'm a civil engineer.
Civil engineers have cool jobs. They're creative and innovative people. They make an impact and change lives, making our world a better place. The bottom line, if you want an amazing career that makes a difference, then do something real. Be a civil engineer.
I just love being able to see something go from broken to fixed. Whenever you see the planes that we work on in the sky, I put that in the air, which is pretty cool. My name is Erin Haas Martin. I'm 24 years old. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm an aircraft mechanic. I make about $55,000 a year. In high school, I was pretty much a nerd. So like, I was very heavy on the books. I graduated really high in my class, and my plans were to go to college, but after high school I was pretty burnt out, so I decided to join the Marine Corps, which had been like one of my dreams. I worked on CH-53s, which is the largest helicopter in the United States military. You think of helicopters and you think like something kind of small, but it was a big girl, very big. I really enjoyed my time in the Marine Corps, but I didn't know if I wanted to do it as a career or not. So I decided to transition out. I got out in December of 2019. So I moved back home, and then I found out about PSA. A lot of companies don't really try to help veterans transition to civilian side of things. So they offered to pay for my A&P license, which I did not have at the time, and then relocation, stipends, sign-on bonuses, experience bonuses, toolbox bonuses, like so much stuff that I couldn't really pass up. I am living with my parents right now, so I'm saving up to get a house. It's also nice that my parents are helping me take care of my cat and my dog, because I have a corgi and he's very needy, wants to play all the time. So I worked night shift in the Marine Corps for about 3 years. So I'm pretty used to basically being a vampire, sleeping during the day and working at night. I'll wake up around 4 p.m., drag myself out of bed, go make some coffee. I'll try to go work out before work. I have a home gym, so I don't really have to go anywhere. And then I'll eat breakfast, but it's typically dinner food because it's dinner time. And then I'll get ready for work, take a shower, get dressed, pack my stuff up, pack my lunch up, and then head to work. I live about 30 minutes away from work. Come to work, clock in, and then get ready for the day. Usually when I come into work, we do our meeting, we figure out what we're working on, we get scheduled to airplanes. So it could go from checking to make sure the lights are working, to checking to see if the tire pressures are correct, cleaning and inspecting something, to sitting somewhere with the multimeter in a very uncomfortable spot, making sure you're getting what you need to be seeing on the multimeter. You should never have a question about anything that you're doing in the manual. And if you do have questions, there's plenty of people here to help you, but usually the manuals are like Barney style, super simple to understand. Whenever work is done, I can just go home and go straight to sleep. I try to flip my schedule on the weekends. So instead of being a vampire, I try to wake up early and then try to enjoy some of the daylight, and especially since the weather is getting good, and hanging out with my friends and family. So in aviation, there's really not a lot of women, especially like mechanic side. So there's 2 women that work on my shift. All of my leads or supervisors are mostly men. I feel like no one really sees the fact that I'm a girl here, which is really nice because I've struggled with that a lot. I was really good at my job in the Marines, like I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people didn't really like that, especially coming from the fact that I'm a woman. Some things, yeah, I do struggle with because I'm small statured, I do need help with. There has been plenty of times where people have asked for my help to fit into small spaces or use my hand to fit into a small space. Like, everybody has their weaknesses and their strengths, and Like, I try to keep up with the boys, but some things I just can't do, but there's some things they can't do. Right now, roughly, I make about $55,000 a year. When I first started, I was making about $50,000 a year. And then in the next couple of years, I plan on making about $60,000 a year. Long-term goal, possibly at a different airline or maybe at PSA, who knows? I hope to be making about 6 figures. I know that won't happen anytime soon, but that's my goal. You have flight benefits. You can pretty much fly all throughout the world, either free or very discounted. I personally haven't used my flight benefits yet because of COVID, but I am excited about using them and letting my friends and family use them, which is really cool that I can take people with me and it's not just me by myself. In the Marine Corps, you have medical benefits. You have TRICARE, which is okay. And insurance, like, they pay for everything, but you don't necessarily get the best medical care. So now I can choose my doctors and where I want to go, and the company like helps match what I pay, kinda. I get a 401k, company also matches me on that, which is really cool. I am really happy with this job. My favorite part, besides actually coming to work, is probably being able to go home and like not have to worry about work. Like in the military, you're constantly like worried about your Marines, like your junior Marines. You're away from your family and all you have is your Marines. Your Marines, your new family now. So that was really stressful for me. I stopped focusing on myself completely while I was in the Marine Corps. So now I can kind of focus on myself again and get my head straight and just basically be able to have a job where I enjoy and then go home and have a life and free time that I enjoy outside of work as well. You would think like you're fixing airplanes, it's probably stressful. Like, sure, it's stressful sometimes at work, but I can go home and close my eyes and not have to worry about anything else. Don't be afraid to be the only girl in your class getting your A&P license, or only girl in your company like turning wrenches, or the only girl in your family turning wrenches. This goes for any job that's out of the norm for women, basically. Do what makes you happy and don't be afraid of what other people think.